Hey dolls and friends, welcome back and thanks so much for spending part of your day with me. If you're new here, my name is Amber Michon and I do weekly DIYs and hauls. If you're not new, hey doll, hey. So in today's video, I have some really pretty high-end looking farmhouse chic DIYs for you. I really hope you guys do enjoy this. This is also a part of my Inspired Me monthly collaboration where I invite 3 other crafters to take some pieces that we all have done and recreate it in our own style and the way, and recreate it in our own style. So I really hope you guys do enjoy this. A link in my description box below will be there for the playlist. I had a lot of fun collabing with these ladies this month, and I know you guys are gonna love these projects that I'm bringing to you guys. And if you do, make sure you give me a big thumbs up. If you're new, I would love if you would consider subscribing and hitting the bell right next to it so you're notified every time that I upload. All right, dolls, let's jump right in.
All right, so to start, we are going to my girl Liz at the Official Craft Nerd, this shabby chic style. I absolutely love it. She did this like cabinet shelf DIY and it is gorgeous. So I am taking that and turning it into the style that I have in my home, and I'm making this Apothecary cabinet. It's like a double cabinet. So from Dollar Tree, I am using their cubes, the ones that have the inserts in them with the image on the inside. It has the flowers on it. And I'm also using some 1 gallon paint stir sticks that I picked up from Home Depot. 10 come in a pack for $1. So the first thing I do is remove all of the inserts from them, and then I hot glue 3 of them together to get 2 sets. So I'm using a total of 6 of these like cube drawers. That's what they're called, drawers, cube drawers. Then after they are together, I then take my paint stir sticks and I measure the width of them, because I'm going to kind of make a shelf on the top of them. Now, I always cut down my paint stir sticks to remove the handle part. And when I cut that down, it was the perfect size to fit for the length for this. So when I measured it down and cut down to size the other paint stir sticks to get the width of it, I hot glued those onto the sides and then hot glued the longer pieces right in place, and they fit nice and snug. And then I just hot glued on the inside just for better support, and this is how they turned out. I'm going to do the second one the exact same way. Absolutely love how it's coming together. Now I'm going to take my plaster chalk paint from Waverly and just give everything one good coat. It was fairly easy. It's painting, you guys. You know how to paint, right? So after that, I am going to set those aside to dry, and then I'm going to take my drawer inserts and I'm going to use my antique wax paint and give each one coat as well. I just use my paintbrush for this, and then after I only painted 3 sides, so I didn't paint the bottom and I didn't paint the side where like the butterfly and the flower is, and I didn't do the inside. Once I was done painting all of that, I just took a rag and wiped everything down so that way I got a nice stain look, and I absolutely love how this color turned out. So pretty. Now that everything is done, it's time for me to start to, kind of decorate it a little bit. So for the first set, I am actually going to use these large half wood beads. Pick these up from Amazon. They will be in my Amazon store in my description box below. And I just hot glued those onto the front of the first 3 of these drawers, keeping that natural wood color. Absolutely love it. Then from Dollar Tree, I have these drawers, but I'm only going to use like the label kind of holder thing. So all I did was unscrew it on to take it out basically, and I decided to paint that white. I just used some simple acrylic paint, gave it 2 good coats of white paint, and then I took my burnt umber acrylic paint and just distressed it a little bit. The original color that it just didn't go too well with the antique color of the drawer. And then the white was too like stark white. So I needed to tone it down a bit, which is why I used the burnt umber to give it a little bit more distressing. And then once that was done and dry, I just screwed it into the front. of the other 3 drawers, and then I put the drawers back into the cabinet, and I love how these turned out. There are so many options in styling this set. You can stack them together, you can keep them separate, you can kind of catty corner them, which is my favorite setup, but I absolutely love how this turned out. It was great inspiration. Thanks so much, Liz. And I just love, this fits my decor so much. I love it so much.
I don't want to be trapped in a box, trying to be like the rest when I'm not. I just want to go my own way, gonna let the past burn down, cause honestly don't wanna be stuck in boring conversations with you. I'm gonna leave.
Next up, we are going to my girl Lisa over at Living My Best Life with Lisa Marie, and she made this really pretty vase with like this decoupage wording. I absolutely love it. It's just really, really pretty. So I took that and I'm making my own vintage vases is what I'm calling them. So I got 2 of these vases from Dollar Tree along with these pop-up stickers, and then a bunch of scrapbook paper that I got from this mixed media designer paper from Walmart. And I just had these for a long time. I've used them in other DIYs before, and I thought this would be perfect. So I'm doing this distressing technique. I've done this on my channel before, where I just spray it with some water and then use some coffee grinds. Now I have a Keurig, so I have my K-cup, and I just kind of poured the grinds on there and just kind of, you know, I don't want to say smooth it out because it wasn't smooth at all, but just kind of scoring it on there to give it a distressing kind of like rustic vintage look. Rustic? No, more vintage look. But super easy, just kind of tear it up a little bit on the edges, and this is what it'll turn out to be. And I just did a bunch of those. Then I used my burnt umber acrylic paint and painted a bunch of the pop-up stickers, and I gave them 2 coats. After my paper was dry, I then took my vase as well as this liquid adhesive from Dollar Tree. I did not have any Mod Podge, so that's why I'm using this liquid adhesive, because I already had it on hand. You could use a glue stick, but I really wanted to get more of this kind of decoupage look. So that's pretty much all I did, is just put the liquid adhesive directly onto the vase and then smooth out each piece of paper on there. What I love about this is that there's no rhyme or reason to putting down the paper. You just kind of put it where it fits in. There's a few times where I had to kind of tear a little piece off to get it to fit in a small section, and I just absolutely love the uniqueness of this and the originality of it. I think it's so pretty. So if you happen to have any paper like this or can pick any up, I definitely think that you should, because just putting it on a vase like this just it just is really beautiful to me. Anyways, the next thing I did is took this faux leather ribbon. It's white. Yes, white faux leather ribbon. Never seen it before. One of my sweet subscribers, Christy, sent it to me. So I just cut it down to size, wrapped it around the underneath the rim of the vase, and then I took those pop-up stickers and just lined them down one side. I pretty much did the favorite side that I liked on this vase, and then I also put some around the white leather ribbon, and that is it. I made 2 of these. This pair is so pretty. I absolutely love these so much. They go just really well with a nice neutral farmhouse chic vintage farmhouse. I'm putting all the themes together, y'all. Thanks for your inspiration, Lisa.
Start over new. Yeah, I'm on my way now.
For the next DIY, we are heading over to my girl Nadia over at DIY with Nadia. She made this gorgeous bicycle wreath. Absolutely love it. So for mine, I am making a trio of bicycle wreaths. And so from Dollar Tree, I'm using 3D wreath form and some skewers. And then I have this back in the saddle sign. I got it from the Goodwill. If you don't have anything like this, you can always use a small like Decor shadow box sign. I'm not really sure what this is called. I got it during Halloween last year. Or you can also use paint stir sticks and glue maybe like 2 or 3 together. So to start this DIY, I removed 3 of the rings to that 3D wreath thing. I really don't know what it's called. Then I measured out my skewers inside of each of these circles, because the 3 of them, they're different sizes. They're just slightly like bigger than the other. Like they just are slightly like different size. But anyways, I got this tool from Home Depot. You can actually pick it up from Amazon as well, but it was actually cheaper at Home Depot for me. So all I did was just measured out the skewers and cut them down to size for it to look like a bicycle. That's all I did. And then I finally put it together. It actually took me a little while to make sure I got the right length. Hot glued it in the middle. Once that was set, I turned it over and then hot glued that in the middle as well. And then after that was set, I hot glued each end of the skewer onto the wire wreath form so that it didn't move. And I did, after everything was set, I did kind of cut everything down. So some of my skewers were a little bit longer, so I just had to cut those, and I just used my wire cutters for that. And I also cut a little bit of the glue that was too bulky. After that, I put some smaller pop-up stickers that I had on hand to cover up the glue, because when you paint over hot glue, you can tell it's hot glue. It looks really weird. So I thought that the simple step of just putting those small pop-up stickers on the ends would give it a little bit more something, and it definitely did. After that, I painted all 3 of these using my white chalk paint from Rust-Oleum. And then I used my half wood round beads again and hot glued them onto the middle of the bike wheel now. Then I'm using a bunch of greenery, my 2 favorite kind of greeneries. I'm just kind of mixing those together and just hot gluing them directly onto the wire wreath form. Now you can use floral tape or floral wire to attach this stuff. It just always gives me a lot of problems, so I just hot glued it down. But you definitely can use what you think would work best for you. And then I just took an assortment of other colorful florals that I had and hot glued them onto each of these wheels. For the larger one, I put some yellow florals with my greenery. And I just kept arranging it until I was happy with the way that it looked. This is all just personal preference, you guys. You can put roses on here. You can put whatever you truly want on these wheels. But this is what all 3 of them look like after I was complete. And I really love how this turned out. They're all similar florals, but just different colors. And I think that is just so summery. I absolutely love it. I think it's so pretty. To make these wheels stand out a little bit more and give them more of a farmhouse touch, I took my burnt umber acrylic paint again and then distressed all of the wheels. So I ended up painting that Goodwill sign white, and I had to do 3 paint coats because I didn't do it on the back. I did it on the front side. I just didn't show that, and because I honestly did not know what color I was gonna paint this sign. So yeah, that was definitely an afterthought and like just, oh, okay, yeah, I'm gonna paint it white and not show y'all. But you know, like I said, y'all know how to paint. But then after that was dry, I took my burnt umber again. I'm really loving this burnt umber color, y'all, and distressed this sign using a chippy brush. And I absolutely love how this distressing looks. I did a little bit more on like the edges than in the middle. If you've been around for a while, you know that I like to go from out to in on my distressing to make sure that I like the look of it, because when you do it on the end, it always looks good. Then from my Cricut, I just cut out Fresh Flower Market. You guys always ask me what the fonts are, and to be perfectly honest, all I do is go into Design Space and search an image and pick the one that I like. So that's mainly what I do. Unless I'm telling you or showing you how I like am doing it, like in Design Space, most of the time I search an image and just pick what I like. So yeah, I don't know the font for this one. But anyways, it also came with some decorative like floral stuff or whatever. So I just put those on this other, each side of the phrase, because it was kind of a void space, and you guys know me and my void spaces don't get along. For real, we just don't get along at all. Okay, so now it's time for me to assemble my wheels to this sign. So I'm just using this jute cord. I actually picked this up from, where did I get this? I think burlapfabric.com sent me this. Anyways, I cut down a piece and then I unraveled it. It has like 3 rope pieces, because if I just used it the way that it came, it was just a little bit too thick for me. So what I did was flip around my sign to the back and just stapled down the jute cord to the back. Now I did tie a knot only because I thought that I would hot glue it down, and I like when I use like a heavy jute or cord or something like that, I like to tie it in a knot so that way the hot glue kind of sticks to it a little bit easier and it holds better. But I just ended up using my staple gun that I picked up. Actually, this I picked up from Home Depot as well. And after I stapled all of those jute cords to the back, I just decided what length I wanted each wheel to hang, and I just tied a knot on it. And then I just kind of got a little bit more decorative with it and kind of tied the knot in like an X form around the top of it, just so it didn't look so weird or whatever. But anyways, after I just kind of wrapped it around the top of the wheel a little bit, I just hot glued it down in place to try to get it to hang a little bit straight, because it's a little crooked, but hey, it's all good in my book. And yeah, once I hot glued all of the jute cord pieces down, that is it for this DIY. And I really love how this turned out. It's actually a pretty big project, and I actually really don't know where I'm gonna put it. I just think it's really, really pretty. Thanks so much for your inspiration, Nadia. Next up, we are heading over to Daphne at Daphne's Homescape. She made this really pretty original looking like window frame. So I am making my own version of this decor frame. And so I got a bunch of like wood pieces. A couple of them came from Michael's, Walmart, and then I had some leftover frames from Dollar Tree. And then I am also using a page out of the farmers market calendar from last year. I thought I was going to use the stencils that I have here, but I ended up not using them. So the first thing I did is remove all of the beaded and twine handles from 4 of the wood pieces that were there. And then I also took off the sawtooth hangers on the back side of those wood signs. Then I popped out the peep peep signs from the Walmart frames, and then gave those a paint coat of my truffle chalk paint. Setting those aside to dry, I'm going to go ahead and hot glue all of my frames together, and I just kind of arranged them in a way that I thought would look really, really cool and really fun. Daphne's was super original, and I loved just the odd shape of what the frames were. It kind of reminds me of like a frame you would buy at like Kirkland's or something, because I've bought them before that are just like, you know, they have different shapes or whatever. So anyways, then I cut out a couple of the like cards or whatever you want to call these pictures from that farmers market calendar, and then I just glued them inside of the wood frames. Then I decided to take some greenery and hot glue that to the back corner of each of the open frames, just so it's not a void space and it looks really put together and really nice. And then, yes, you see those truffle colored signs that were the peep peep ones have this really pretty stenciled design on them. I lost the footage of me showing you the stencil. Basically, it is the same stencil I used in my last wood decor video where I stenciled a tray. So I used that same stencil, and then this time I used my white acrylic paint, and I just stenciled it on there. And I was looking for more of like a weathered look, so I didn't want it to be too crisp or too perfect. And then I just hot glued the backing back into the frame. So I'm super sorry that I lost that footage, but when I started to edit, it just didn't show up from my camera. So yeah. Then I took some burnt umber acrylic paint again. The burnt umber is like a theme of this video. And just distressed where the signs were, as well as taking some white acrylic paint and going back over it and distressing a little bit more, just so I can get more of a cohesive look and it be put together. And once that was done, this baby was perfect. I absolutely love this. I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I do, but after a day stepping back and then looking back at it again, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in love with this one. So yes, thanks so much for the inspiration, Daphne.
Be able to find myself, shouldn't be so complicated. If I listen to my heart, I'm gonna leave it all behind. Find myself, I'm gonna start over new.
Alright dolls, that's all I have for you today. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give me a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you head down to the playlist so you can see everybody else's inspired pieces. Other than that, be blessed, stay safe, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!
Where I invite 3 other crafters. Uh-oh. You alright? You okay? So what? Why are you crying? Do you know why you're crying? If you're not new, hey doll, hey.
Bye-bye,